let you know that it rained in some key areas, and so make sure you grab yourself a warm jacket and something that can you can grab some coffee or some tea to make sure you are keeping yourself warm. And of course, we'll come back from that motivation day starter, and of course one of the most key highlights was starting with what you have. What do you have to make sure that you are driving towards the goals that you want to drive to? But well, right about now we are diving into the current affairs. What has been happening across the country and what has been happening between Iran and Iraq? We'll be taking a look at that. But well, in the headlines, we do have what is coming in from Daily Monitor today. And of course, New Vision, we are still fighting to make sure we grab it as early as we can so that you can know what is in New Vision. And then also we'll be seeing the government being very intentional actually to construct some road in the great Kampala metropolitan areas. And also we'll be taking a look at one of the most key important things, that is Uganda Airlines. Uganda Airlines is promising actually to acquire 8 new jetliners. And well, across the borders of Uganda, we'll be also a look at the war between Iran and Israel. Of course, we do see that this time around, Iran actually sent missiles to the U.S. base in Qatar and also Iraq. We'll also be closing up with the founder of FedEx. FedEx is a shipping freight company that ships different packages across 22 different countries. And so the founder, sadly enough, that is Fred Smith, passed away. But right about now, let's take a look at what's in Daily Monitor. And well, beginning with Daily Monitor today, we are seeing that there is a promising, of course, spotlight politicians who have been the key players for quite a very long time. And there's, of course, heated discussions on these leaders always coming in. We have key people like General Moses Sali. We do have also Honorable Matia Kasaija and Honorable Ephraim Kamuntu. Of course, many of them are in there, as well as Honorable Kahinda Utafire and General Jojo Odong. You know, Honorable Rebecca Kadaga is also vying for the position of vice chairperson in the NRM party. And so Daily Monitor has placed them in the spotlight as the veterans of the game. In there also there is how taxes exemptions don't make sense anymore for quite a number of people. And also clerics also have rejected non-Muslim head teacher actually in Lwengo. The Israel hits Iran's event prison and says strikes on Tehran are biggest yet. You can also grab yourself a copy and also get some opportunities that are in key, of course, companies like Bank of Uganda, UEDCL, NW, National Water and Sewage Corporation. And so in case you're looking for a job, you can check out some of those jobs right in there. Also, a copy for the young people is in there. Maybe your young child needs to understand and learn some words. You can assist them to grab a rainbow. But well, moving on to the government of Uganda, planning actually to construct roads in the great metropolitan area of Kampala. Of course, we are seeing Kampala Central, Kampala West, Kampala East, and Kampala South being some of the key areas that have been pointed out for the KCCA to be able to improve the road safety and enhance connectivity. Of course, this completion aims at being targeted before the 2026 general election. But will this be possible? It's one of the most top important discussions we need to have. But well, the government has officially launched the major road infrastructure project with an upgrade of 19.8 kilometers of roads across the greater Kampala metropolitan area. And of course, Kampala Central will be taking 3.7 kilometers. Kampala Central will also be taking 4.56 kilometers. That is Lubaga. And then also we have Kawempe, 3.5 kilometers. And Machinde will be taking actually 5 kilometers. And during the community engagement, of course, the KCCA Executive Director, that is Sharifa Buzeki, flagged off the roads, emphasizing the importance on the project, on the schedule that it has. She actually pointed that 149 billion Ugandan shillings is expected to be spent in terms of this construction and road. Of course, the Lord Mayor's appeal still stands, as they say that this money is actually a loan that has been generated in order to support, of course, this road construction. And we hope for the very best. The residents that do stay in some of those key places will be able to have their businesses move smoothly, and people also have residential areas. And at this point of time, I would like us to take a look at what is coming in from Uganda Airlines. Well, Uganda Airlines is actually promising to acquire 8 new jetliners. Currently, it has 2 Airbuses, and of course, 4 Bombardiers for the travels, and it estimates that on average per month, they receive actually 5,000 passengers. But while the airline is moving towards a mixed fleet model, that will see the acquisition of 8 new jetliners alongside a short-term leasing strategy to bridge immediate capacity gaps. And of course, the airliner continues to be in the spotlight, with the CEO Jennifer Bamuturaki says the strategy will enhance its operational footprint and bolster its role in stimulating tourism and regional connectivity. Since its re-establishment in 2018 and commencement of operation in 2019, Uganda Airlines has steadily grown its presence in the African aviation landscape. Of course, the airline currently operates at a fleet comprising of 2 Airbuses, that is A330-800 wide-body aircraft, which serves its international routes, and 4 Bombardiers, that is CRJ-900LR regional jets, handling its extensive network across the different continent. And of course, the current route map includes the key African cities such as Nairobi, Dar es Salaam, Bujumbura, Mogadishu, Juba, Kilimanjaro, Mombasa, Kinshasa, and Johannesburg, as well as Abuja, Lusaka, and Harare. And of course, the international airline connects Entebbe to Dubai and London Gatwick, with future plans for routes such as Mumbai, Cairo, Accra, and Cape Town, as well as Istanbul and Abu Dhabi. Of course, we continue to monitor if this will be, of course, implemented, the proactive leasing strategy that is meant to commence with these new different air jets that are yet to be purchased and support the airline in terms of its operation. And well, allow me to move to the Iran. Iran actually has entered its first week since the launch and fight between Iran and Israel. It has been a tense fight of seeing different missiles, hypersonic missiles flying in between the 2 different countries. However, yesterday, the Iranian state actually launched a very surprise attack on the U.S. military base in Qatar and Iraq. Of course, the senior U.S. official communicated and say that they are closely monitoring potential threats that may be coming in again from Iran, and also their confirmation comes in as they report credible threats of the U.S.-run Coalition Air Operations Center. And of course, there is also credible threats still again, as communicated from the U.S. Army, that of course this could just be a temporary attack on the U.S. military. But of course, the U.S. government and also generals did come out to declare that actually they are on guard against this fight. However, on Monday evening yesterday, President Donald Trump did come out actually to declare that actually there is a promising reconciliation or a ceasefire between the 2 different countries, that is Iran and Iraq. Of course, Iran had set the time for 4 a.m., that is local time. However, Israel has not yet been able to communicate its stand. The UK Foreign Secretary David Lammer then issued the same advice to the UK citizens in Qatar to make sure that they are safe against these different attacks that are happening between the two different countries. And of course, President Donald Trump has been seen in the spotlight trying to make sure that these two countries can be able to stop fighting. We'll continue to monitor this as Trump actually stated a complete and total ceasefire between the two countries to take effect in the coming hours. But of course, Israel says Iran has fired fresh missiles at the country, with emergency services actually saying 3 people had passed away. Well, we'll continue to bring you that story very timely and monitor what is happening. And of course, let us move on to one of the key people that started up a freight company. A freight company is a company that deals in shipping packages across different parts of the world. There is Fred Smith, actually, who passed away at the age of 80. Fred Smith actually challenged, while he was still doing his undergraduate, that he would start up a company whereby deliveries are actually done in an overnight. He started this vision, of course, in a way that is joking, saying that he would ship packages overnight for his new company known as FedEx. And of course, we see that also his name comes from, the company name is derived from his real names, Frederick Smith. So he betted actually everything on having this plan to make sure to revolutionize the freight transport, actually quoting disaster early on what he termed as the vindication in the form of the power in Washington. Of course, billions in personal wealth and changes in how people all over the world send and receive goods. He passed away actually last Saturday at the age of 80. FedEx, which is based in Memphis, announced his death in a statement. And of course, FedEx has conceived in a paper that Mr. Smith wrote as at Yale University undergraduate in 1965. He argued that an increasingly automated economy would depend on fast and dependable door-to-door shipping of small packages containing computer parts, though he got, of course, a grade C. And today, FedEx employs actually more than 500,000 people and operates the world's largest fleet of cargo aircraft. And on average day, the company, of course, ships more than 16 million packages in about 220 countries and territories. Of course, like Google, FedEx also created a new service that came to be seen as an essential and that